Welcome to chapter 58, I think it is, of Memoirs of a White Guy. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry about no podcast last week. I do want to start off with my apologies. It just didn't happen. See, this sucks. Okay, what's happening is I'm at the radio studio and Lewis and I have finally found time to record both our solo podcasts. The problem is we're recording them in a studio which has a glass window next to each other. So Lewis is currently dabbing at me and he's recording on his phone and he's about to fucking walk in and ruin the podcast right from the start. Like we need more Lewis Spears, and right now he's about to come in and ruin the podcast. See, this sucks. People didn't need more of us together.
That's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to prove that we weren't lying. Alright, bye.
Bye.
Hey, what are you about to talk about?
New Zealand. I missed last week.
Enjoy it, everyone.
Yeah, so that'll be only funny if you then go and listen to Lewis's podcast, Spearhead Sundays, and hear the other side of that conversation. I don't even know if you guys could hear that. Lewis just walked in, started yelling, and now he's closing the blind. Thank God I don't want to look at his head any longer. Now, a few people have asked me that already. Oh, Lewis is now lowering his head with the angle. Oh, fucking hell. Dude, his podcast must be so shit. I haven't listened to it for a while. But, this podcast sucks, but that podcast, from what I'm seeing now, just silence in the other window, must be dead set fucking trash. Now, what was I going to talk about? I was saying, sorry, so the blinds are closed now in the radio studio. I can no longer see Lewis, and now the podcast will be good. So, sorry, that was the worst start ever. I was saying, sorry to you all for not doing a podcast this week, and genuine apology because I think I went to do one. I didn't get around to do it Monday. Okay, this is how my week went. Okay, Monday I was like, boom, let's do this podcast. Monday night, Memoirs of a White Guy, let's do it. I was all pumped to do it, and then I got a call from my accountant. Yes, that's right, I have an accountant now. I'm like an adult. I do adult shit occasionally. Okay, so I got a call from my accountant saying, like, hey, can you do Monday? And I looked at the rest of my week and I was like, oh, pretty busy. Yep, Monday's going to have to do. So I had to make a call. It was either go to jail or owe the ATO like 10 grand or not do a podcast this week. So I was like, fine, I will go. So I had to go do my tax or whatever because I'm an adult now apparently. And so anyway, I had to go do that. Then that's what happened Monday. Then Tuesday, I was like, great, I'll do the podcast. It'll just be one day late. And then I'm pretty sure, I forget, I was just doing probably something stupid. Oh, no, Tuesday was awesome. I went to see Chris D'Elia. Chris D'Elia is an American stand-up comedian. He was performing at the Athenaeum. Khaled opened for him, which was really cool. That was a surprise, actually. I didn't even know. Me and Lewis were just sitting there watching. And then he was like, welcome to the stage, the opening act, Khaled. And we're like, oh, cool. So that was good. Chris was mad. It was so good seeing just a refreshing, you know what I mean? Like a good comedian. Not that Australian comedians aren't good. I love so many Australian comedians. It's just like, I don't know, it was good seeing someone different. And then Wednesday night, what did I do Wednesday? I think I was at the radio studio till bullshit late amount planning this race for the radio show. Me and Lewis did a race and I had to get all fat and stuff. Just listen to the radio show. This is a different thing. And then Thursday we had the race. And then by the time we got to Thursday, I was like, nah, this is too late now. I'm just going to wait till next Monday. And also, just one more thing of housekeeping before we get into New Zealand and all the other cool shit I've been doing all week. I want to announce, well, it's not really an announcement, but, well, I'm announcing it, so I guess, you know what? This is an announcement. The podcast will now be uploaded on a Tuesday. Just because that's the day I can do it now. It used to be on a Monday. That was when I was home alone and I could just, focus and talk shit. And now the best day I can do. So I'm going to record it on Monday night, which is what I'm doing now. And then it will be scheduled and uploaded like 6 a.m. on Tuesday. That'll be the goal. Because I feel bad. Like people go, oh, this podcast's every Monday. And it comes out like, Monday at 11 p.m. And it's just like, well, it's not really. It's pretty much Tuesday. So I'm just going to put it out on Tuesday now so people stop harassing me on Snapchat. Where's the podcast? It's coming. I'm sorry. Cool. That's all the housekeeping done. Tuesday next week. And then, we'll go from there. So, I went to New Zealand for the very first time. I'd never performed overseas before. Went there with Lewis, and he did his shows there and was practicing for his special. I got a free trip to New Zealand, which was fucking sick for me because, just didn't have to pay for anything. It was awesome. And it was enjoyable going there because I've never just... Dude, it was honestly the most beautiful country I've ever been to. I've only ever been to, like, bogan countries in the Pacific, like Fiji, Vanuatu, New Caledonia, and New Zealand. So I've hardly been anywhere. And the Gold Coast, which is technically a different country. I mean, it's nothing like Melbourne, and everyone there scares the shit out of me. So, it's the people who live in New Zealand don't realize how good they have it. Like, it's beautiful. Everything looks like it's in Lord of the Rings. You're like, oh, there's Gandalf, or what? Like, it's the best shit ever. And like, we went to this, I was talking to people from there, and they're like, oh, it's not that good. And I'm like, dude, there's snow on your mountains, and it's October. It blew my mind. And I was like, it's good for skiing in winter, but this time of year, there's not a lot to do. Fair enough, there's not a lot to do there. But, man, the drive between, where was it? It was Queenstown and Dunedin was actually insane. And in Dunedin, we went to the world's steepest street. That was sick, man. I love, literally the last podcast was me talking about trying to break a world record. I love a world's biggest or a world's best, or in this case, a world's steepest, because you look at it and I was like, shit, there is no other hill as steep as this bad boy. And, there's hills steeper. Well, I mean, there's cliffs, there's vertical cliffs, which is about as steep as you can get, or is inverted cliff steeper. Anyway, it's the steepest street, so people actually lived on this street, and it was so steep, I don't think the photo I put up on Instagram really did it justice. Like, if you ran down this hill, you'd eat shit and fall flat on your face. Like, there's a handrail and stairs. Like, you walk down a street and there's a footpath because it's not that steep. Well, this hill had stairs. It was that steep. And, Lewis ran up it, which was amusing. And then, I was sick. I just got a double choc chip milkshake and just strolled up casually. But, it was mad. I love that shit because, I'd seen it before on, like, a few travel shows and stuff. And, I found out about it. I was like, oh, it's in Dunedin. We need to go. And it was, like, 5 minutes out of town. And my favorite part was watching the local people who lived on this street, which was surrounded by tourists. Like, there was like 100 tourists taking photos out the front of their house. And just because it was a good slope. Like, everyone was just like, what a fucking descent. And, just I was doing it too. I was taking photos. So I'm part of the problem. And I was just watching locals, like, reverse out of their driveways, which are on like a 45, it's way more than 45, probably like a 50-degree angle, so their car's almost tipping. Like, I don't think if you lived on that road, you could have a four-wheel drive, because, you'd have to have a four-wheel drive to get up the road. See, I don't know how these people do it, because, like, if you reverse out with a four-wheel drive, it would probably tip, because it's that steep. The car would just be like, and it'll hit an angle and just roll down the hill. So I don't know how anyone was doing it. Apparently they were just sedans can make it up that hill, but you'd have to put it into like the highest gear and get a 100-meter head start. It was hectic. And I found out the reason why, which is not very funny at all, but it was interesting. Some dude after the show told me this. I always have the weirdest discussion with people who come to these shows. And thank you to everyone. I met a few people listening to the podcast and stuff from New Zealand. That's pretty cool, because I always get questions from New Zealand and I'm like, I don't know who these people are. And then I met some of you, so that's cool. What was I going to say? I found out why they built the streets as they were. So why the streets are all so steep there is because when they planned New Zealand over in the UK before they came here, they were like, we need to plan these streets. So they gridded it all out and then got to New Zealand. We're like, oh shit, this place is literally fucking Mordor. You can't build like a suburban block on this house. And then they just went, fuck it, just do it anyway. So they literally built what was supposed to be flat streets up ginormous mountains. And that's why New Zealand is so steep. So not very funny, but very educational, and for once, I'm glad you all learnt something from this podcast. Unless you already know that, in which case, get a life. Like, I was kind of like, that's pretty obscure New Zealand, in particularly Dunedin trivia. So that was on the South Island. Dude, their soft drink. They have this soft drink called LP, and it blew my mind. For all the Australians who have never heard of this, I think it's just, there's no acronym. I think it's just called LP. I'm going to Google it. It may stand for something else. And it tasted like, I just Googled MLP, which is My Little Pony. Whoops. That's not what the soft drink stands for. That's, man, My Little Pony, just while we're here, is one of the strangest concepts I've ever seen, because you see like adults, like 40-year-old adult dudes who's like, and like they have, what's the fan name called? Now I'm Googling this. I'm just going to go on a tangent here. My Little Pony fan base. There's some fucked up name for their fan base that like all these 40-year-old virgin. It's called Friendship is Fandom. They're called bronies. That's what they're called. Adult fans of My Little Pony are called bronies. Imagine being like 40 and being like going to like your family Christmas, like, oh, Jim, how's the kids? Yeah, not bad. Just putting them through primary school. Oh yeah, how's Sandra, the wife? Yeah, she's great. Oh, what about Liz? Yeah, Liz is awesome. Oh, awesome. What else you been up to? Oh, had a couple of my bronies over the other day. We just watched seasons 1 to 2 of a fucking kid show about fairy ponies. And how does that conversation end with, oh yeah, hopefully I see you soon, man? You'd lose all your mates if you're... Hi. Like, could you imagine the anonymous, the brony anonymous meeting? Like, hi, my name's Jim, and I'm a brony. And everyone's like, hi, Jim. And then they cast a spell at him, and then he grows a mane, and he's like, no! Oh, because he's a fucking horse. What a weirdo. Anyway, what was I Googling? LP, the drink. And I started looking about, how did that even happen? Oh, I accidentally Googled MLP. Now I'm Googling LP soft drink. That's what it is. And it's like this soft drink in New Zealand. It's called Lemon and Paria. I just know I've pronounced that wrong. And you know what? I've given up trying on this podcast. I don't care. You guys laugh at me no matter how I try and pronounce shit anyway. So go on, bring it on. Looking forward to seeing your Lemon and Paeroa. Dude, I don't know how to pronounce this word. So it's spelled Paeroa. Now I have to Google. This podcast will be so shit without Google. Paeroa pronunciation. Oh, this podcast is a loose one, guys. I mean, it's Monday night. I've been at the radio station for like fucking 12 hours now. Oh my god, I just found the website, the perfect website for this podcast. It's called www, that's 3, howtopronounce.com. I'm going to bookmark this shit right now. You can Google a word and it tells you how to pronounce that shit. Oh my god. Lewis just walked past and gave me the finger. I have no idea why. Okay, bookmark. Okay, I'm bookmarking it. How do I turn the volume up? It pronounces Paeroa. What?
Pharaoh.
Pharaoh?
Pharaoh.
Mate, there's no way that's how you pronounce that. Lemon and Pharaoh is what the soft drink's called. Mate, a Pharaoh is not... Was it saying Pharaoh? Isn't a Pharaoh a Pokemon?
Pharaoh.
Fucking whatever, I give up. They have this awesome soft drink called LP, and it blew my mind. This is what I was trying to say 3 minutes ago, or probably more. So, okay, it tastes like, you know that like Icy Pole, the white Icy Pole popsicle? It tasted like that melted down and bubbled, so it's not like shitty melted down version, and bubbled and cold, and it's quite literally one of the best. My mouth's watering right now. And I think you can get it in Australia, but only at those like custom lolly shops that sell like Dr. Pepper and all these exotic soft drinks. Well, not exotic, that's American, but you know what I mean, like international soft drinks. So if you can get yourself a hold of one, get an L&P. It shits on Solo. It makes Solo taste like cat piss, okay? There's just no comparison. So get an L&P when you go to New Zealand. That is my one tip. Like if someone's like, how's New Zealand? And I was like, yeah, sick. Didn't see a hobbit, but tried this new soft drink that blew my mind. So overall 10 out of 10 trip. And also their accent, man. They're so funny. Like, it's, I don't know, they don't see it. Like, they don't hear it. So you listen to their radio and watch their TV there, and I legitimately heard, like, I ticked on, and they have this radio station called George FM. Like, hello, this is Jenny and Tommy on George FM. Now, Tommy, I've lost the accent. He was like, Tommy, have you been attacked? And yeah, I've got it now. Okay, so he's like, this is honestly a word-for-word thing that happened on one of their radio stations, and it wasn't a sketch. Like, it wasn't written. This just happened, and I laughed. I lost my mind. So it was like, Tommy, have you been attacked? He's like, yes, I've been attacked. He's like, what did you get attacked by? He's like, I got attacked by my cat and my dog. He's like, you got attacked by your cat and your dog? Yes, I got attacked by my cat and my dog. How did your cat attack you? Well, it attacked me. And they just kept going. And they were like, all right, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Give us a call. And Jenna and Tommy. And it was just like, and then one guy called up. He's like, William, welcome to the show. Have you been attacked? He's like, yes, I've been attacked. And it was... It was the best shit I've ever heard. And then one dude, the final caller, was like, Peter, welcome to the show. You've been attacked. He's like, yes, I've been attacked. He's like, what were you attacked by? He's like, I was attacked by my garage door. He's like, you're attacked by your garage door. He's like, yes, I was attacked by my garage door. My finger got in. And he told this whole story about how his finger got jammed in his garage door. And I was like, this is the most New Zealand shit ever. This is like, could only happen in New Zealand. Everyone there's so nice. And they don't realize that they're like a parody of themselves. Like, so I have to have a drink. Oh, so what else happened? I told this story on the radio, so I don't want to. It's so weird now. I never know what stories to tell. Okay, I'll tell it again in case some of you guys haven't heard the radio show. This was without a doubt the funniest thing that happened to me. I was going through customs at the airport, and this was just the classic language barrier thing of you think you can fix a language barrier issue with volume. Like, people, like, when you're talking like to a Chinese person or whatever, you're like, where's, like, they're like, I'll save you like overseas, you're like, where's the toilet? And like, well, they're not understanding you. So you go, where is the toilet? And it's like, no, the volume wasn't the issue here. She doesn't, like, you know what I mean? She doesn't speak English and you don't speak Chinese. And everyone, for some reason, tourists, they just start yelling. It's like, oh no, if I get my decibel range up to a high level, it'll solve everything. And you see people just in other countries, and even here, speaking to people with other languages, just going, where is the toilet? And the other person's like, I don't speak English, but they do it in their language. I don't know how to say that in Chinese. But yeah, so anyway, I was going through customs, and honestly, when you're in New Zealand, they're literally the country next door, and they speak English. They are English-speaking, fluent in English. Very fluent, probably more fluent than Australia, because we speak like fucking bogans. So there should be absolutely no language barrier or no confusion. But the minute I got off the plane, I was going through customs in Queenstown. There's that one bit where you put your passport, you put your your passport into the thing, and it scans your face with a camera. And there's two little footprints that you put your feet on to show you where to stand so the camera can read your face correctly. And I stood on the footprints, and the custom officer walks over to me. He's like, mate, keep off. Excuse me, mate, keep off. Keep off, mate. And I was like, alright, shit, I gotta keep off. So I got off the footprints, and he just kept going. He's like, no, mate, keep off. Keep off. Keep off. Keep off. And I'm like, dude, I'm off. Like, honestly, what do you want to do? And then this went on for ages, where he kept getting louder, and I was like, dude, we speak the same language, I just don't know what the fuck you're saying. And he's like, keep off. And I'm like, dude, I'm off. And then eventually Lewis goes, Luke, take your cap off, dickhead. And yeah, he was saying cap off. He's like, cap off. That's it. And I was like, dude, why the fuck didn't you just say that? He's like, keep off. Anyway, that was a good language confusion, a real classic. Okay, what else happened? Oh, this actually amused me. So, we were going home, I think it was Christchurch, so this is still in the South Island of New Zealand. I was after the Christchurch show, And all the shows were awesome, by the way. The first show in Queenstown was at this like cool backpacker bar. It was a packed room. It was a great start. Then Dunedin was a little bit smaller because it was on like a Thursday night. But everyone who came was awesome. And then also like we just, it was good getting to meet people after the show and talking to them. What else is going on? Oh yeah, and then Christchurch was awesome, and then Auckland was the biggest show at the end. Auckland was dope. But after Christchurch, we went out, we got some Macca's. Oh no, the Macca's story is later. Okay, so first of all, we were driving to Macca's, and we stopped at a traffic light, and there was this singular food truck. It was just sitting, like, abandoned on the side of the road, like, just, I don't know why, like, apparently they just have food trucks on the middle of the street. It was like a drive-through food truck. It wasn't a drive-through because it was just a caravan next to a road. So technically, if you wanted to stop and hold up the traffic, it could be used as a drive-through. So and it was called the Radish Food Truck. The Radish. Okay, if you don't know what a radish is, it's like that purple turnipy kind of. It's like that purple vegetable. Radishes taste gross, firstly, and it was a whole food truck dedicated to radish meals. What the fuck is happening with society? Like, what? I'm sorry, but I'm honestly, good on you if you're a vegetarian, good on you if you're a vegan, well done, props to you. But having your own food truck dedicated to not just vegetables, it could be like a fresh produce. I mean, that's what a grocer is. That's fine. But a food truck, and I looked at like what they were selling. It was like radish parmigiana, radish pie, radish porridge, radish everything. Just, it was like, let's take a normal meal that people like and enjoy and have been popular with people for years, and let's fuck it up with a radish. Let's slice up a shit vegetable, chuck it in the porridge, and just ruin everyone's day. And it smelt too, like it was on the side of the road, and it was obviously full of radishes, and it just stunk the whole street out. And I was just like, this is only in New Zealand would people... Because people are too nice there, man. No one is rude enough there to be like, oh, hey, man, I've seen you've started a radish food truck. That sucks. No one's like that rude there. Everyone there will be like, oh, good job, mate. Like, nice. And they call it a radish food truck. It's like, oh, I'll try a radish, and they'd chew it politely in front of you. They'd be like, yes, they'd be scooping radish porridge and being like, this is delicious. And no one would have the guts to be like, dude, like, tip it out in front of them, spit in their face, and be like, can you just serve me porridge like a normal fucking person? Lewis has now walked past not wearing a shirt. What the hell is happening in his podcast? Oh my god. So should I get naked more in my podcast? Is that what this podcast is missing? Me rubbing my nipples? Well, anyway, so this radish food truck, it ruined my week. Just knowing the fact that, like, I got a free trip to New Zealand, and I was like, fuck, I'm pretty disappointed I had to see that. I could just picture the guy. He's obviously like a farmer, and he works in radishes, and he's just like, all right, mate, I'm thinking of starting a new business venture. And they go, oh yeah? Are we getting out of the farm business? What are we doing now? Are we going into other produce? Carrots, maybe? They're a popular vegetable. Nah, mate, not carrots. What about potato? Everyone likes them. Nah, mate, way too mainstream. People actually like them. What about broccoli? Warm. Oh, what about Brussels sprouts? Almost there. Oh, radishes. Fucking bingo. Well done, mate. We're opening a radish food truck. Man, that dude's going to be bankrupt. He's going to file for bankruptcy, and he's going to go sign the lease, and then the bank is going to be like, he's going to think, because he's in New Zealand, he's going to be like, man, this guy's hands smell like shit. Why do his hands smell like radishes? There's no way he would start a radish food truck business. And then he reads the lease, and he's like, fuck, you took out 30 grand to serve radish porridge? You're a fucking moron. Anyway, the radish food truck really bummed out my whole week. That was another reason why I didn't do the podcast. Like, yeah, I was busy on Monday, but the whole time I was just going home going like, fuck it. I didn't want to be reminded of that radish food truck anyway. What's been going on this week? So, I had, so we did this race, right? If you didn't hear, I'll just summarize it quickly. I wasn't training for a month doing running, and Lewis was training, and he had 30 days to train to beat me in a race. And on that day, I had 3 big M's. I had 3 big M's, and then 2 donuts during the race, and then someone just gave me a donut before the race, and I was like, yeah, it's Krispy Kreme, you're not going to turn that down. So I obviously ate it. And people bring me Tim Tams just offering for Team Chubby, which was my team name. So yeah, I had a lot of fans there. I'm sorry I let down the fans. I did end up losing the race. I made a big call where I added an extra donut to the start of the race to throw Lewis a bone. Turns out the 3 big M's hit me harder than I thought, and I was just pretty much dry reaching. I didn't actually vomit though. Like, I couldn't vomit. I felt so sick I was past that point of vomiting. Now, the point to this is I got very unfit this month. Like, I didn't do much running. I did no exercise. I ate like shit because it was funny for the radio. And then I went for a run on the weekend, and the de-chubbing process is honestly brutal. Like, I don't know, I'm not actually fat, but like, I got like very just unhealthy. Like, I realized at the start, I was like, man, I don't want to get up today. I want to eat and stay in bed. And then I was like, what is happening to you? So I just went for a run, and I felt great to get back out there. And I was walking out of my house, and my dad, he grabs me on my calf. Fucking hell, now Lewis just moonwalked past. I'm going to go in and fuck up his podcast. The only problem is I have to take my computer with me. I might do it later. When he starts fucking getting back into it. I think he just stopped his podcast briefly. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was walking out of the house, and my dad walked up to me, pinched my calf, and was like, oh, you did get fat, didn't you? What? Calf fat isn't a thing? Hey, firstly, I'm being fat shamed by my father, who's supposed to be supportive, and I'm like, dude, grab my belly, grab my cheek, okay? Those are fat-prone areas. When have you ever seen someone and been like, man, your calf's really, you really let yourself go in the calf department, dude? You just skip leg day? It's like, no, like donuts don't go to your legs anyway. So I got fat shamed about my calves during the week by my own father, which was brutal. So I've started the long road back to fitness. But you know what? For once in my life, I'm actually excited about running again. Just because, like, I don't know, once you become that unfucking fit and you feel that gross, I don't know how people do it, man. I don't know how, like, overweight people just live their life every day and don't feel like shit about themselves. Oh, no, they do. That's what depression is. No, but you know what I mean, though? I mean, like, I don't know. I just never let myself get to that state because I'm just like, I don't know. I think I've felt what peak fitness is like when I used to be a state runner and stuff, and now when I even get like a bit, you know, when I get really below that, I just feel like shit. Anyway, so I'm trying to get the road back to fitness, and so I'll let you guys know how my training's going. I did 3 kilometers this week. No, so the other day. So I used to do like 6-7k, no worries. Just bang, run, go home, bit puff, awesome. Just smash it out. And I ran 3 kilometers out to where I usually run to, and then I forgot that I had to run all the way back, and pretty much got stranded by myself in a park and going like, shit, I have to go back 3 kilometers. So I just had to walk and run, and I was thirsty and it sucked. But you know what? You got to do that shit to get to, you know, you've got to go through it. No pain, no gain, mate. You've got to be like that personal trainer guy, but in your own mind, like, mate, fucking winners never quit and quitters never win, or whatever it is. You know, you've just got to be like that guy from The Biggest Loser, the commando guy, but in your mind. So you have to, like, strap on some camo pants and a wife beater singlet in your mind and just go, let's fucking do this. So that's what I did, and I finally went for a run, and it was sick. What I did want to talk about quickly, oh man, my bag fell off. Did I tell you guys I crashed my car because that happened? My bag fell off a seat. That just reminded me. Now I'm depressed. So what happened was, it sucked, man. And it happened like 2 weeks ago. It was the first ever car crash I've had. And I just like, I know what happened. It was stupid. I was driving. I wasn't on my phone or anything. I wasn't doing like I got distracted, but it was my fault. Here's the thing. It was 100% my fault. But it was bullshit. So I was going up, and it was like bumper to bumper traffic in the morning, and you know, I was just rolling away, listening to some radio or whatever, and then the bag fell off, like my bag with my laptop and my camera was in it. It was just a backpack. It was sitting up on my passenger seat. So I lurched across to be like, oh no, that's expensive. And then I went boom and hit the car in front because I forgot to brake because I wasn't looking at the front. I think the car in front of me did brake quite suddenly because I had like at least a 3 meter gap. And anyway, so I went up the car. It cost me like over $2,500. Like, my excess is insane. Anyway, because I'm under 25, they just fuck you because you're like, oh, mate, are you a child? You're like, yeah, I still live at home with my parents. And like, oh, we're gonna fuck you harder then. It means you have more money to spend on a car. So, yeah, my insurance company just absolutely took me to town on that one. And it was bullshit. Their car had like one scratch. It was like a paint scratch on the back. And the lady was freaking out. She's like, oh. I was like, dude, like, I've hardly hit your car. My car was pretty fucked. Like, it was broken all. I smashed the headlamps up. I didn't go up that quickly. It just crumpled really easily. And I put like one scratch in their car. Their car cost almost as much as mine to fix. Like over $1,000. And I was like, really? For that one bit of paint you put back on? It was one of those people, they just used an insurance claim that they didn't have to pay for. I did as an excuse to get the whole back of their car done. Like, he probably got like a new stereo. I probably paid for this. Probably paid for like new tires, new stereo. They probably claimed like the windscreen wipers, like, oh, you know, the impact of the collision made the windscreen wipers, or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, I bet you I ended up buying her daughter, like the person's freaking son or daughter in the front seat a new iPhone because he dropped it on the floor. Like, I paid for everything in that car, I think, and it was bullshit because I scratched their paint once. Anyway, what was I supposed to be talking about? I started getting angry again because I crashed my car. I still haven't got my car back, so I'm like Lewis now. I have to just catch public transport everywhere like a pleb. And I say gross shit all the time, like a dude cutting his fingernails. Just disgusting shit every day. It's just like, have some respect for yourself, everyone. Like, I didn't catch public transport for like maybe 6 months. Maybe 6 months without public transport, and I forgot how disgusting people were, and then I went back on a train, and I was like, oh, this is why I hate people. Anyway, what I actually want to talk about was in New Zealand. Dude, New Zealand fast food is sick. For some reason, their Macca's and everything is better because they have, like, way stricter health and food safety regulations than here, clearly, because their Macca's, like, only taste like a dog's asshole, not like a bloated bison's asshole, which is like what it is here. Oh, no, ours tastes like a dingo took a shit, and then a kookaburra laughed at it, so the shit felt degraded, and then some snotty 15-year-old kid packed that with a bunch of lettuce and fake cheese into a Big Mac, and he's like, that's $9.95, thank you very much, and you eat it, like, crying to yourself, because you know you're eating a bloated dingo shit's, like, unconfident shit that's just been mimicked by a kookaburra. And then that's pretty much our Macca's. So if you're from overseas, that is Australian Macca's. And then like a wombat walks past and gives the Big Mac the finger, making the patty feel even more degraded. I think in that description it relies on a lot of native Australian animals openly roaming the streets. For that to happen, you'd have to take it to like an Australian wildlife sanctuary. Because I've only ever seen like 3 wombats in the wild. So very rarely can you rely on a wombat to walk past and give a Big Mac the finger on command. Because I don't even think wombats have fingers. They have paws. So that's a massive flaw in that. Anyway, New Zealand Macca's is the shit. And Australian Macca's sucks. And I went into New Zealand Macca's and I was just like, oh, by the way, when I say it's the shit, it still sucks. Any Macca's sucks. This is what gets me with fast food joints, right? You go in there and you're like, they're always like, hey, how may I help you? And you're like, okay, I'm going to stop you there. Firstly, you're not helping anyone, okay? You work at Macca's, you can't even help yourself, clearly. You're not helping anyone. You're helping me ruin my life, so you can help me with that. And you're helping me make poor dietary decisions, usually at 3 a.m. after too many beers. That's what you're helping me do. But saying how may I help you suggests and implies that you do people a service. I know there's some people just statistically who work at fast food joints and who listen to this podcast. I just want you to know that you're not helping anyone. And that's fine. I don't help anyone with my job. I make people laugh. That's kind of a good thing. You give people food when they're hungry. That's kind of a good thing. None of us are saints, okay? If you work in a fast food joint, stop opening the conversation with, how may I help you? Okay? here's how you could help me, okay? Unless you're bringing down Macca's, the world's most evil corporation, in from the inside, you're not helping anyone, okay? People, those teenagers, like those 14-year-olds who work at Macca's, you're technically executioners because you kill people just slowly over a long period of time. Like, it's true. Macca's, that's a good scoop. Write that down. Fucking headline. Luke Kidgell says all Macca's employees are mass murderers. I said it. Good, they're executioners because they kill people. Like that big M on your hat doesn't stand for Macca's, stands for manslaughter. Okay? Because when I go in there and say, how may I help you? You're like, yeah, sick. Just looking to die in 50 years of a heart attack. Yeah, so it's just 9 Big Macs, thanks. And they will be like, yeah, no worries. That's $49.80, whatever the fuck it is. Okay? I've never really thought about that. Macca's just kill people. Like, that's like all they're good for. Like, what else do they do other than make money and give people diabetes and like give people early cardiac arrests that they didn't need? It's like they're responsible for like kids parties, 3 out of 10 burgers, and heart failure from the 3 out of 10 burgers that you buy from Macca's. Like, I reckon if you ordered like, what? Is there a limit? I don't think there's a cap. You could probably order 100 Big Macs and they'd be like, yeah, hope you're hungry. They'd probably serve it to you. That's law. You know what? There's probably a law against that. I don't know now. I'm just talking shit. But whenever, it just pissed me off. I went into the New Zealand Macca's and the kid was like, hi, how may I help you? No, sorry, he was in New Zealand. He's like, how do you do it? Hey, mate, how may I help you? And I've lost the accent. I was doing it so good when I was over there. And I've just been talking like a bogan for the last week, so I can't do it anymore. But anyway, it's like, how may I help you? I'm like, you can't help yourself. All right, quit. Hand in your resignation. You don't even need to quit. Just leave. No one cares that you're there. Okay, so you're so replaceable. Imagine how unfulfilled you would go home. Like, I've never ever worked at a fast food place before, and I'm thankful for that. Because imagine rocking up to work and literally just being like a cog in the wheel of the biggest corporation on earth. Like, hey, I literally have no purpose. I put on this dumb red collared shirt that always has like batter and shit on it anyway, so it doesn't look respectable. I wear a dumb apron. I pretend I'm in a restaurant, but I'm not. I'm in Macca's. You'll go home every night so unfulfilled. You'd be like, I have no purpose. I'm just like, you're like a number. Like, if you quit, they'd be like, sick, we'll get the next 13-year-old whose parents won't pay for beer, so he has to get a job at Macca's so he can do ice on the weekend. I just thinking, like, could you imagine if you like went in for a job interview at Macca's and they were like, sorry mate, we don't think you have what it takes. It's like, you are that much of a fucking waste of space. I don't think you have what it takes to be a fucking Macca's employee. Like, oh, you don't have what it takes to be a mindless ant in this corporation. It's like, imagine if you're like, alright, you put the chips on here and this is how you flip a burger, and you're like, oh man, this is just, I don't know, I'm just gonna go for an input job in Google. Fuck this, I can't I can't focus on all this lettuce. You know what, I'm being mean now, because I bet you there's someone listening to this who got denied from Macca's and they were like, sorry, there's just no jobs available at the moment. But you were like dribbling in the interview and they were like, holy shit, he's too shit for us. And they just move you on to KFC. You know who would take you if you were just like dribbling on the floor and they'd still employ you? Red Rooster. 100%. Apps any day of the week. You just have to learn what a Chico roll is. I mean, like, they don't even get customers, Red Rooster. So you just have to stand there. You just have to do the training. That's all you have to do there. Anyway, so I was just getting denied for a job. That's the funniest shit ever. Like, do they even have job interviews for Macca's? Or is it just like, mate, put on this apron? I reckon I could become an area manager of a Macca's in like a year and a half, max. And that's not a challenge, by the way. I'm not going to do it. Okay, I've got better shit to do with my life. The podcast is almost finished, guys. What have I been doing of late? So you know, okay, this has been pretty cool. I think I was talking about last week in the podcast, though. so I won't talk about it too much. Today, I sat in and watched Hamish and Andy's show on the radio, which was really cool. It was just so cool seeing, like, how everything works behind the scenes, because they have, like, 1 million people working for them, and, you know, they were great. They were, like, coming out and, you know, speaking to us between the songs and stuff, but just watching what was going on behind the scenes while they were on air, it was, like, awesome. It was just, like, because, I mean, I've been a fan of their show for, like, 10 years, so I was, like, nerding out completely, but not, like, nerding out about them. I was just like, oh man, look how many calls they get. Like, they did, like, this weird as fuck espresso, like this weird phoner about, like, oh, when have you, do you know someone who takes it too far with their Nespresso machine? Like, something pretty obscure, and they got, like, hundreds of phone calls. On our show, we're like, give us a call, have you got a cool mum? And we get, like, 2 phone calls. So, if you're ever listening to our show and we do a phone call segment, just call. You're gonna get on air if you just don't suck. Like, you just get on air. But it's super fun though, man. I've been loving this radio shit. I've got a few more videos. Okay, so, I haven't done a video in like a month, and I know I haven't, and it's been, but I've written one video definitely about exams. I'm gonna do a new exam video this week, and another, I think I might do 2 videos on how to study and stuff, just because it's exam time, and I always think that's a funny area to play in. So, I like doing stuff about school, just because, I don't know, I sucked at it, so I like taking the piss out of it. But, yeah, so I've got some videos coming. Our radio show got extended, so I don't think we actually ever said this, but, we were on a 1-month trial, for the radio show, and, so we actually only had a month of Luke and Lewis for lunch on Triple M, whatever. That was the only... They just gave us a 1 month, and then if we sucked, they would have scrapped us. But our shows got extended till Christmas, which is super cool. So it just gives us 2 more months to play around and literally have a load of fun every day, and try and make something of this. You know, like hopefully get on either Triple M or Fox or whatever. That's obviously the future goal. It's, you know, obviously it's a long way down the road, but just gotta keep pepping away. That's what we're good at. Always on the grind. Hustle! See the commando. We've got our wife beaters on, just doing that fucking radio, man. No pain, no gain. Whatever other inspirational quotes. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've got. I mean, New Zealand was awesome. Sorry there was no podcast during the week. It's going to be every Tuesday now. And, oh, sorry, question. That was one question that I wanted to do. And then, bloody God, we're almost done. I mean, I'm looking at my list. I've ranted about how hilarious. Oh, okay, one more thing. So I was talking about New Zealand for... nothing happens there. I was vaguely talking about this. Nothing happens in New Zealand, right? I was watching their news, and our news in Australia is just like, oh, car crash, massive protest in Federation Square, or like, oh, Sydney shooting, oh no, that's bad. Oh, Malcolm Turnbull says something really important. Oh, actually, that doesn't happen much. But Malcolm Turnbull says something that no one cares about. Gay marriage, is that going to become a thing? Like, big, what I'm saying is just big, important issues that everyone's like, oh, fuck, we should tune in for that. Not in New Zealand. We watched the project in New Zealand and the news. There was a news story about 6 librarians in Invercargill who were doing a dress... It was like... who were doing a dress-up day at their work. So they were, like, encouraging everyone to dress up, and for some reason, because it was a special day in their library's history, and they were interviewing the 6 librarians, and like, oh, yes, it's very nice, none of us got attacked, but, we're just all going to dress up tomorrow, and it should be great fun. Back to you, someone else in Invercargill, and everyone's like, oh, well, thanks for joining us, librarians, because everyone's so nice to each other. And I was just like, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen. Like, no one gets shot. Everyone's just like, oh, look, it's a hobbit. Oh, librarians in Invercargill. Oh, someone got attacked by their garage door. We're all having fun. That's their news. And it was great. And I was like, you know what? Good on it. Because there was so many stories that were like, oh, a meerkat rides on a scooter. Isn't that fun? Let's play this for 2 minutes. In Australia, it's like 4 people die jumping off the fucking Westgate or the Harbour Bridge. It's like, great. It sucks over here. So you know what? I was honestly jealous of your news. So, well done everyone. In New Zealand, you're killing it. Seems like there's no crime. It seems like everyone's just too bored to even commit crime. They're like, oh, we'll just be nice to each other instead. And also their cops don't have guns. So I don't know why you don't have crime. I mean, our cops have guns. I don't know. Maybe they don't. I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you about that. I just thought that was so funny that there was a whole news story about librarians in Invercargill, and I was like, this isn't news, mate. This is like page 8 of my local paper. Like it's that level story. It's like, oh, the local library, not national news. 6 librarians doing a dress-up day. It's like, dude, what do they report on Halloween? Oh, everyone's doing a dress-up day at work. Let's get to every library in Invercargill, Dunedin, wherever I don't know many places in. I'm already out. Man, just get some better news. That's all I'm saying. Okay, the question this week is, I said, well done for the radio show, blah, blah. I started working at a job and I work all day on the weekend without a break. That sucks. It's not quite ideal. No, it's not. My friend just quit and I want to as well, but I feel like I'm dogging the boys by quitting. How long after she quits do you think it is appropriate for me to quit? Thank you so much, by the way. I'm a huge fan. I found out about you through my brother, the one in the video. Can't wait to see you next time you come to Perth. Thank you very much. She wanted to keep herself anonymous, which is cool. So I'm going to call you Sally. Just going to call you Silly Sally because you haven't quit your job yet. Sally, what do you mean you feel like you're dogging the boys? Do you feel like you're dogging your workplace? If you're going to quit, literally, quite literally, if you quit, it is not your fucking problem. Okay? Not your problem at all. Just quit. And you're dogging the workplace, but they're not the boys. Okay, ask yourself this, Sally. Would the boys make you work all weekend? Fuck no, they wouldn't, because Saturdays are for the boys, alright? So, you're not dogging the boys. You're dogging the boys by actually going to work. Unless you work with the boys and your work is getting loose and going to the pub, and I'm assuming by boys you mean the girls, unless you're actually dogging boys, because who says your friends can't be girls and boys? Either way, you don't sound like you're friends with these work people. Your other friend quit, so it must suck shit. Just quit. Hand in that resignation. That is my advice for you. There is no, I've got to wait a certain amount of time so they can afford to find someone else. Dude, I've been working at the golf club for 5 years, got this job in radio and just went, alright, catch you later, everyone. Hopefully I don't see you back. I mean, I'll probably be back in 2 months because this may not end well, but adios. I just didn't come back. I didn't hand in a resignation letter. Just got my shift covered. Then left. It's not hard, so I thought I'd recommend you do, Sally. Alright, that's the end of the podcast. Good luck with quitting. Do one of those, like, okay, purposely piss off your boss to the point where you can do that awesome movie thing, and you're like, hey boss, I quit. And they're like, no, you're fired. And then you walk out of there and you get a mad severance package on the way out. That's how you do it. Do something shit where they have to fire you. Alright, so that's the end of the podcast, guys. Thank you very much for listening. From now on, this podcast will be every Tuesday. I'm going to do it on Monday nights. I'm pumped about it. Woo! Sorry, that was too pumped. I am that pumped about it, actually. Anyway, so I'll see you guys next week. Let me know. Sending questions. I was about to say let me know something. There's nothing for you guys to let me know. So, let me know how you going. No, I'm going to regret that because people just send me, hey man, I'm going well. Just ask me a question, any life advice. Would love to give it to you. And I'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.